Hey, what's up? This is Derrick Green from Sepultura, and you're listening to Interview Under Fire.
All right, how's it going out there, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Interview Under Fire. This is your host, Sonny here. This time, along with the monstrous talented vocalist and Derrick Green. Quite the honor, man. Thank you so much for joining our IOF series today. Now, Derrick, this is an exciting time of the year for you and the rest of the guys over at the mighty Sepultura with the release of your latest studio album, Sepulquarta, which releases August 13th through Nuclear Blast. And first things first, man, I just want to, commend you guys on just getting this far into your storied career with the band nearing 40 years of existence. I can't believe I'm even saying that number, considering how long I've been listening to you guys. Of course, all the well-deserved recognition this new album has been getting so far, especially with those singles Mask and Apes of God that dropped. Could we expect anything less? Let's be honest here. But, plenty of amazing things to unravel about this unique album and what you guys are all about. But before we get to all that and beyond, I'm going to start off with a very important question. I do this with all my guests. It's an important one, considering what's been happening in our lives, man. How are you? How has the last 7 months just been like in Los Angeles, man?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, and thanks for all the praise. I mean, it's a pretty.
I'll drink to that.
But yeah, things have been great. Considering pandemic going on, just really hanging in there, trying to stay positive during this whole thing. But it is exciting times, despite all the drama that's going on around us in the world.
Right.
But we're looking forward to really playing shows again live. That's really something that we're missing very much. But we're excited about playing these new songs as well. And with this recording of Quadra that came out, we weren't able to play any songs live yet, except for one song. Actually, two shows we were able to play. In Rock in Rio, we played the song Isolation. Then we were also able to play it for Hellfest, a special opening event that we did for them. So that was the only time that we were able to play a song off the new album. And then we have this album coming out now, Sepulquarta. And it's exciting, because I came about from absolutely not with a plan or anything in mind to do an album, but it turned into an album. So it's really exciting to have that out as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive into Quadra here in a little bit because the transition from that to now, obviously it was unplanned, but obviously life as of late, many of us have also been away from the stage a lot, fans and musicians alike. Now that there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel here, a long tunnel, might I add, that we've all been in, I'm assuming, were you able to keep up with your vocals, your instrumentals these days? Like, has anything changed for you routine-wise lately, if at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spent the past, over 20 years on the road all the time. So having that big pause of not touring, being at home, being able to do day-to-day stuff is a big change. That was something that we weren't able to do all the time. But now, it's been so long, I've gotten used to doing the daily routine. It's kind of nice to have those routines. But again, like I was saying, I really miss playing shows. But it's a strange period, not playing shows in the summer, not doing festivals, not doing anything. I wasn't able to really do as much vocally as I wanted to. I mean, we were with Sepulquarta. That was something we look forward to each Wednesday, having to perform and getting prepared for that. And doing some side projects with certain people, certain songs, a lot of covers that people were out there doing. And I thought that was pretty cool, but I'm not really a cover guy. I'm not really into doing so many covers at all. It's not really that appealing to me. I mean, I love watching people do it, but honestly, I don't like doing them. But I thought it was a way, to keep people entertained and keep people interested. And for the artists themselves, it's a lot of fun and I love seeing them and everything. But I really need to step back into rehearsing vocals. And that really comes about from playing live shows. For us, we never really practiced that much. except for getting ready for tours. And the last time we practiced was in 2020 when we're getting ready to set out on a tour with Sacred Reich and Crowbar in the US.
Yeah, I remember
that was in March. Yeah, middle of March. And that was the last time we were practicing hardcore, like so ready, the set list, everything, super excited. And then it didn't happen. So before this, we start touring again, we'll have to do some serious rehearsing. I have to really build up to get my vocals back into shape. It's like a muscle and training. So I have to really do that again.
Yeah. And speaking of like getting into the routine, I want the listeners out there to know how important this is to you, because I'm going to transition here back into it because you're vegan, Derrick, if I'm correct, right? Yeah. Now, which is, yes. Now, here's the thing. A lot of my peers and even my older brother, he's going to see this interview when it drops. He's going to say, I told you so. He's, we're trying to transition to being vegan. I'm in my 30s. Like, the shit I used to in the past, obviously. But, I want to tie it into, you being vegan, which also ties into your show called Highway to Health, which is, if for anyone who doesn't know, it's a plant-based rock and roll travel show. I mean, that's everything together that I love. It hosted by you and your co-partner, Tanya O'Callahan. Talk about that, Derrick. I know that means a lot to you, because how did that start? Yeah. How has all that been going for you? And if at all, how has the pandemic had an effect on something health conscious like Highway to Health? Were there challenges? Were you able to keep that up into where you started to where you are today? I know it's a lot I'm asking you, but
I don't know. No. I got you, man. I got you.
You have the floor.
All right. So basically I haven't eaten meat since I was 14, 15 years old. So it's been over like 30 years of not eating any animals. I started 3 or 4 years ago. But I've always been very conscious about awareness of how eating animals has an effect on the planet, on animals, of course, and on ourselves. So those are 3 primary things that were really stuck in my head and reasons why I really wanted to make a life decision in changing to a plant-based diet and lifestyle. Not really a diet, but a lifestyle. I don't use any leather products or any animal products as well. So it was something that it was a learning process. And I felt that from the times when I started to now, it's been so many changes that have been happening that are fantastic changes. And it's just evolving, that whole plant-based lifestyle and the understanding and people being open-minded to it and companies being like-minded to the cause of the importance of the planet and the importance of animal cruelty. And so I felt that was something that I really had never seen on a TV show. It was something I enjoyed. I've always enjoyed watching travel shows and cooking shows and then going to all these exotic places and you learn about the culture. And I was like, this is cool. But a lot of the times I wasn't really into the exotic animals they were eating on the show. A lot of times it was super pricey, things I just never would eat, even if I did eat meat. And that part of the shows, of those type of shows, weren't really appealing to me. And I always wanted to see another side, other options that are out there that do exist. And many times from being on the road and traveling, I would get asked all these questions. I would get linked or boxed into certain stereotypes about being a vegan. And so I wanted to really put light on that and kind of shed all the stereotypes that exist around that whole plant-based world. Tanya O'Callahan was actually a traveling musician. She is a traveling musician as well, and an activist. And she also had this idea as well. So we teamed up together and decided to do a show called Highway to Health, really showing our lives and why we made this decision. And a lot of the people that we meet from traveling around the world and showing that not only where we're living, but also everywhere around the world, there's these changes that are happening. And there's a reason why these changes are happening. So we really want to shed light on that and show people the possibilities that exist out there of options that they can go to, because it's a time where it feels that people are having a better understanding of how it's having an impact on our lives. and everything around us and how we're all connected. So I think with our program, we don't want to ram it down people's throats that you got to be vegan. You need to do this. Our idea.
That's a good really sound bit, by the way. I'm going to save that.
Thank you. No problem. But it's like we really want to show the fun behind it. We want to show the evolution behind it. And we want to give people those options, for them to make their own choices to do those things, to implement those things into their life. And it takes time to do those things. But, it's like I never liked the aspect of people like really ramming things down my throat. Mm-hmm. And I always felt this was a really a negative approach. So I felt it was a better approach, to really cheer people on when they're doing those changes, like maybe once a week, cutting out meat for their whole family. I think that's incredible. A lot of times people would never consider that. And I think it's great when people are making those small changes and building up to maybe bigger changes. So we wanted to have people that are on the show that weren't only vegans. We wanted to show the discipline it takes to live a healthy life, not only food-wise, but mentally as well. And that takes a lot of discipline and understanding. And it's something that's, all connected, like I was saying before. But it's a really exciting show. We have a lot of different celebrities and chefs and like MMA fighters and CEOs and a wide variety.
I've seen it. I feel like we could dive into that show just alone on a separate episode, which we'll save for later.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there, but yeah.
Oh no. But so, with this whole lockdown and everything, I felt there was a time that a lot of people could really concentrate on their health. They have more time to do those exercises where they're like, oh, I don't have the time in the day to do it. And, so for me, I ended up doing a lot of walks every day, trying to do like an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half of walking, which is tremendous. It's really underrated form of exercise, but it really clears your mind.
Yes,
and it's great for your body. Yeah. And it's great, man. And so cooking at home, also another way of like really helping your health, getting away from the processed food of buying fast food and things like that. Cooking at home is the best way of like improving your health, especially there's so many different dishes that are cooked that are healthy, plant-based, and you can really feel those changes. I know that, this was a time that I felt that I wanted to really, really get into shape. And I felt that I was able to do that during this whole lockdown, just really focus on that. And health being the most important thing, in people's lives. I felt that a lot of people would get behind that, but, it was difficult times. People were feeling depressed. There's a lot of propaganda on the other side as far as like meat industry and everything pushing their product. Where people were kind of getting lazy into that and actually watching their health slip away from that, being locked up and being depressed and everything. But I felt that it could help, with a healthy lifestyle, plant-based lifestyle, would definitely helping your immunity. If you were to get sick, it would help with a quick recovery. And I felt that a lot of people could get behind that aspect of it. I felt that there would be a big change in health-wise, but it's been 50-50, it seems. Some people are like, yeah, I definitely started to make those changes, and other people are like, man, I really slipped. I keep hearing both sides,
I've been on both sides, actually.
Yeah, no, we all have. So, but I think it's a challenge, and I really think if there was a positive program reinforcing ideas that are kind of really dispelling a lot of negative ideas that people might have, I feel if there was a show that people could watch, they would really appreciate that.
And where can people follow Highway to Health? I know you guys have an Instagram, and you have a website. Oh, Liquid Death. I have Liquid Death in my fridge. I've been drinking so much Liquid Death this summer. I'm a fan. I love what they're doing. Their marketing is genius. Like just the way it's spreading like wildfire in a good way. I introduced my brother to Liquid Death, and he can't stop drinking it. He lives in Oklahoma. He just drove back to Oklahoma today, but I went there last week, a couple weeks ago, actually. He just had cartons of just Liquid Death in his fridge. I'm like, whoa, This is great.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Anyway, shout out to Liquid Death.
Yeah, shout out to Liquid Death, definitely.
But I was gonna ask like if you wanted to plug in Highway to Health as far as like website, where can people follow?
Okay, yeah.
With everything.
So right now so right before the pandemic, we were able to film an entire season, so 8 episodes.
Oh, awesome.
Traveling to Brazil, Ireland. We were even on the Kiss cruise that Tanya played. Going to the Caribbean. A lot of like crazy episodes, but we're in the process of selling it to a network. So we're trying. It's a really crazy game to do that. So I really feel positive about us being able to sell it. So we're in that process now, trying to get a network to buy it, so we can start working on the second season. But we're really pushing it. So once we have that sold and we have a home for it, then we'll definitely start promoting on our website as far as Instagram and Twitter. All our social media will really be pushing it even more. But until then, we're still collecting content and everything, and just really need to get this sold.
Yeah, and I really love what you guys are doing, and you guys are doing it right. You talk about propaganda. There's so much information being thrown at us left and right, especially with this last year and a half. You don't know what to do. It's like you become overwhelmed with all this information, which is I'm so glad you were able to shed more light on everything that you do. And I know I'm just one of millions out there, but you guys are doing it right. And I'm so glad you plugged that into my show, because being health conscious is an easier said than done process. I feel like as a musician, being on the road as long as you have, is that something you'd like to see other fans, the metal community, just to latch onto? As extreme as the genre is, I feel like we could go on the other end on just being safe and being careful with what we eat, no harm to animals and all that in between. Are you seeing it catch on more as far as being a vegan, as far as the metal community is concerned? What are you seeing?
No doubt. Well, I've seen it's definitely caught on more. It's incredible how it has. I've noticed from festivals and shows that they're catering more towards plant-based people in catering, having dishes that are tastier, healthier, and they're really doing their research and homework and trying to have interesting dishes, not just the bland things of the past, but they're really doing the research and creating tasty dishes that are healthy. So a lot of times I notice the bins, well, they'll have meat and they'll have vegan section. The vegan section is always gone, always empty.
That's good.
And it's always, it's great. I mean, at times I'm like, can you hide my plate in the back before everyone eats it? The thing is just the waste from all the meat and stuff that's left over. I'm just like, why do people still insist on ordering this stuff or having it on the rider? A lot of things we had to change on the rider, because even the guys in my band aren't vegan, but they like to be healthy on the road and they like to eat well on the road. And they're much more conscious about it, as far as even digesting, being on stage with like a full stomach and things like that. So with the plant-based diet, it's easier to digest. You're going to feel lighter. And they're coming up again with tastier dishes. So I've noticed that all those trays are always empty. I've noticed a lot of different bands are asking for it. So before it'd only be like one person or two, but there's full bands that are vegan, metal bands and stuff. We tour with Creator. Millie is a hardcore vegan as well, and he's awesome. And so that was great to link up with him and talk about, things like that. I've noticed even on cruise ships, with like metal cruise ships or whatever, there was an entire buffet dedicated to plant-based people, like a whole vegan buffet. And there was a line packed, with people in that line. It was just really cool to see, because people are understanding that, you're able to live longer, be happier in pursuing this type of lifestyle. I've noticed even on stage, it's like people want to feel healthier. You don't see as many people getting fucked up backstage like in the past. People are taking, the live shows seriously because they want to have that energy. They want to put on the best show possible. They want to feel good when you're doing those shows, because fans will appreciate that, and your body will appreciate that. Your band will appreciate it. Being serious, being focused, and being, sober on stage and ready to go. And so a lot of that, not only having to do with like drugs, cutting that out and stuff like that, but also with food. And so it's incredible to see, that people want to have this longevity with the band. And that helps when you're eating well, taking care of yourself, and you're able to do those shows and last longer, exist longer, and doing your music in something that you truly love to do.
Yeah. And case in point, hopefully one day we can say, yeah, you guys have been around for 70 years. It's because you're able to prolong your health and by eating healthy. And before we go to the next topic, I want to ask, you're talking about being vegan. What's on the menu today, Derrick, if you can't answer that question?
Good question. Well, normally at my house, we do like a barbecue once a week.
I'm from Texas, so you're talking to the right person.
So I'm going to put together some potatoes and marinated, like onions and spices and garlic. You wrap that up in tinfoil. You just throw that on the fire. It comes out crispy potatoes and everything. I'll make some kebabs. I like to use this Beyond sausage. It's really, really good. They have like the spicy sausage made by Beyond Meat. And so you add like different onions and peppers and things like that you can put on a kebab. So we'll definitely do that, and along with like a nice tossed salad, and maybe some other stuff. Oh, corn, throwing that on, again, on a grilled corn is just so good.
Yeah.
And just simple things like that, just taste so good and just amazing and simple.
Yeah. Remember what I told you about? We could talk about this forever. That's what I mean. We spend like a good amount. I can't wait to keep this up, and we're going to dedicate obviously one episode in the future to talk about just veganism entirely. You're talking about, being on road, being vegan, and the amount of tours that you've done, Derrick. I mean, Sepultura, like I said, you guys have been around for nearly 4 decades. You joined in 1998, and you've been at this for a long time yourself, whether it's with Sepultura or Maximum Headroom, Beloved Ghouls, Alpha Jerk. What am I missing? Musica Diablo. The list goes on there. But I begin to think, how was the touring life for you personally, Derrick? Because you've done some extensive touring throughout your career. You played at Rock in Rio, Wacken, Download Festival. 70,000 tons of metal. You're talking about the cruise ship, Hellfest. And now we've all been just forced to take this unexpected step back. And, in this last year, has that made you develop, I don't know, a newfound appreciation of the touring life? Like, what was your favorite part about it, if you can like pick one?
Definitely the connection of fans, of people, not only fans, but just people in general. You go to these incredible cities and places and you learn so much from talking to people, and it can be inspiring. You hear different stories. I love that communication and learning from being in entirely different places around the world. I truly miss that energy, that you giving to people and that you're getting back from people. I really have been missing that. That's something that I look forward to getting back to. But I mean, being on the road, it was something, that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. Just travel and to experience all these different places. But, it will come back soon. The aspects of being in an airport and that stuff, I don't miss.
Yeah, those little things like that, they start to really stand out.
Taxi rides and going to the airport. I hated that.
Don't forget sitting on an airplane and just being smushed in between. I'm a smaller guy, so I don't know if you you can have any relation to that, but I get exactly what you're talking about now. I mean, like
customs and all that. Man. Bullshit is the worst. But it's so, I mean, that it's really worth it once you step on that stage, right before that first note is hit, right before, your intro's on and you're getting ready. It's like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for, it never gets old.
Yeah. And speaking of never getting old, we don't know how long this will continue. And you've seen this for the last year. And you guys have done this live streaming along with hundreds of other artists, obviously Sepulquarta playing a big part in this, which we'll dive into here in a sec. But we've had artists like Devin Townsend and Atreyu, August Burns Red, Trivium come on Interview Under Fire, and they talked about their experiences, pre-recording a set and then selling virtual tickets to the fans, and they would either stream their set or do a live set or whatever have you. But with the amount of live streaming we've seen, I wanted to get your take on this, Derrick, because do you think that what we all saw during the rise of the quarantine-induced live streaming, is that going to affect the touring musician business going forward through your perspective? Like, has it already been affected? Do you still see bands doing something like this once we enter 2022 and beyond?
Well, I think bands are doing whatever they needed to do to survive, the artists. A lot of people are under the impression that if you're, certain musicians, they have like a shitload of money. I don't know where they got this idea from. So some people, it's not, it's hard to make money being a musician. And so, you gotta hustle. And so to do that live streaming, I know a lot of bands or artists are just like not really into it. It's a weird feeling, just playing in front of no one. It's not the same. But you do whatever you can, to really have that connection with fans. We created Sepulquarta because of that love of being connected, needing to be connected to our fans. We had such a strong momentum with the album coming out, and we needed that communication between ourselves as a band, which is extremely important, and why the band has been able to last so long is that communicating amongst ourselves.
Right.
So we had these meetings every Wednesday with the band talking. And then we're like, hey, let's put this online to keep connected with fans, talk about Sepultura stories and touring. It would be great for fans to see us, talking and to talk with them. Then it grew into like, hey, let's play Sepultura songs for fans every Wednesday. Then it was like, hey, why don't we invite guests, people that we've had connections with our past from touring or friends, and jam Sepultura songs. Then it grew to, let's have not only musicians on, but other people that we admire and people that have causes that are worth knowing about, and try to help them and communicate this on Wednesday. And so this gave us a way to stay connected with ourselves, our fans, and it was something to look forward to each Wednesday, since we had so much downtime. But it's not, I don't think it's fun to do like live streaming type stuff. I think it sucks, actually.
Was it weird? I mean, just like, what was it like for you, man? Like, you're standing in front of a camera. Obviously, we're doing what we're doing right now, but you're standing in front of a camera. How was it? Like the first time you were in front of it, it's like, this is weird. Like, should I just start?
Yeah, I just felt like corny. And I mean, my neighbors felt that somebody was being murdered. I also had to think of that time because I'm like screaming. Then I had to like keep my screaming down to a certain level at certain times, and just, it just
Jesus.
Killed the whole vibe of like being free to do music and everything. I was like in my room with horrible equipment. I wasn't planning on being in a quarantine for a year, so I had like a microphone and GarageBand where I was like, how does this even work? Like trying to piece it together technology wise. And it was a learning experience, I dealt with it, but it's not the same feeling. I didn't become an artist or a musician to play in front of a camera. I want to play in front of people. But you got to do what you need to do to survive. And that was something that came out, that survival instinct, like, okay, well, you got to do this. You got to do this. And that happens a lot from being on the road and being in, crazy situations and having to deal with the situation. So that's what we did, and it worked out in a way that we never imagined, an album came out of it,
Yeah. And I began to wonder if it ever did feel like a typical production setting for you personally. And I'm glad you dove into that. Devin Townsend said the same thing when I talked to him about that. Obviously you can mosh in your own room, right? Which is great, like for as long as you want. But then I feel like you kind of hit that creative barrier where, okay, we did the live streaming. Now what? It's like, I've had so many artists, talented artists like yourself come on IUF and tell me, yeah, I would love to do live streaming. It gives me a chance to engage with my fans. Other artists would say, I'm not doing shit until all this is over,
I mean, you could do that, but I think that's important. Like I said, it's important to have that connection with fans. You know, it's really what has kept the band alive as well as ourselves, you know, to keep going. You know, it's like that connection is really important, and we love that connection. So it's like, all right, let's do the live thing. It's, you know, it's corny as it is. I may be in my room and whatever, my neighbors are hating me, but I was like, I don't care. I'd rather, you know, I want to do this. You know, it's definitely needed.
Something I'm going to point out, I don't know if you remember this, Metallica did this last summer for one weekend. They did this live streaming event for all the drive-in theaters around the nation. Do you remember that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So my friend, Dallas, Texas sold out immediately. Luckily, my friend had a ticket. And I love telling this story because it's crazy. Like, I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. Maybe, I don't know. And that was my first ever Metallica experience. If you would have told me that my first ever Metallica experience came during
that was your first experience?
Yeah,
really?
yeah. I'm not even kidding. You can't make this up. But the more I dive into this, like, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, someone would have told me I did this and it's done. I get there. Yeah, it feels like it was a great turnout. You see all these people come out. It felt like an actual show, right? So we get settled in, and then it starts to seep in. You sit in the car, right? We had vegan nachos. Let me point it out to you. We had vegan nachos. It was great. Loved it. Awesome. It was Beyond Meat. I think it was. Nice. I think there was tofurkey in there. I okay. That brand. That's a great brand. But anyway, we got there. We're in the car. But then I'm like, we're in the car, and then you see I remember this 3 Days Grace open. And what's the most popular thing we hear at a metal show? Let me see those horns, right? And you just see a sea of horns. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You get that adrenaline rush as you see that. Instead, what do we get? They go, hey, let me hear you honk your horns. So if you roll your window down, you just hear cars honking just in silence, like in the dark. It felt so odd. But the point of me telling you this story is just, it made me miss the live experience even more. You can't, dude, the reason why we love metal is because of the live experience. We're not.
Yes, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what
makes I know. Yes.
Stand out from everything else out there. But yeah, it just made me miss that even more. It was great. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but you know, I'm just saying, like, Metallica, like seeing Metallica the first time, the way I did it, I'm sure when I told James Hetfield one day, like, did you know this is the first time? He goes, you know what? We get that a lot. So just a crazy story to talk about. Now I have an icebreaker.
What was their set list like? Were they playing?
So yeah, they played everything from, like, obviously the first four, which is like some of the people's favorite, you know, before Black Album hit. They played some from Load and Reload. They went into the last one. I can't remember the top of my head, so many albums. The last one that came out, I can't remember what it was. You know what I'm talking about, though. Yeah. But they played, you know, from Saint Anger also. But wow, it was a very long set, and the turnout was great. Cool. Everybody stayed there. People were trying to mosh, even though it was kind of raining outside. And I'm just like, this is
weird.
It's Texas. People are ready to get out and just go crazy. But
I mean, I gotta say, like, you know, I appreciate when bands have, like, live stuff you can watch at home. I mean, I did get psyched up with certain things I was able to see I hadn't seen in a long time, just because I was at home, or certain festivals I forgot about, or seeing live footage. You know, it was kind of cool to see stuff like that. You know, so, you know, I appreciate those bands that did take the effort to do those.
There we go. Hardwired to Self-Destruct. That's what I keep forgetting.
Oh, man.
That was it. Yes. They played a lot from that too.
Yeah.
But
that's incredible. Your first experience with Metallica. Wow.
Now it's out there for the public to know. Oh gosh. You know, it's something talking about. I'm going to transition to this because Metallica and you guys were having the success that you have. Here's the thing, Derrick. You know, the irony in all this is that the first song on that Cadre album is called Isolation. Another thing you can't make up. Right before the pandemic hit, I'm just thinking to myself, if that ever seeped in your head, you know, talking about Cadre and the reception that you guys have had albums that have gone to be certified as, you know, staple records among millions of fans and musicians today. I mean, this is just another impressive addition to your catalog. You know, despite the lineup changes, obviously, you guys have really honed in to your sound and identity, and I've stayed true to that over the years. I mean, I don't care who you are. 15 records is not an easy thing to do, yet here you are. But Derrick, I'm going to talk about this because knowing and being a part of that success that Sepultura has been through, does writing get easier, or does the pressure of so many great records make it harder?
I think it becomes challenging, absolutely. But that's what makes it so appealing, that challenge. And also the ability to work with other people. I mean, that's, very talented people. So this is something that's always been a draw. Something I always aspired to be around is very talented people, very positive people, people that want to go in the same direction. So when it comes to writing, you're influenced so much from traveling, meeting people, talking to people, being at live shows, playing live shows. Mm-hmm. So that has a lot of, we take a lot from that into the writing process. So it's important for us to actually be on the road, to develop ideas, to be around certain people, to, be engulfed in certain cultures. But it keeps you on your toes, and you really have to step out of your comfort zone. This is something that's always kept us, it's always challenged us to really not be afraid to try new things, to, like I said, to get out of that box. A lot of people find it, after many years becoming comfortable, kind of doing the same recipe, that worked before, mm-hmm. I guess we can coast on doing that. But I think for us, it's never been part of a Sepultura trait. It's something that was before I was in the band that I felt was always appealing about Sepultura, is that each album was different, with the album covers, the artwork, the whole concept, everything consistently changing. And I felt that's how we are as humans. We're changing, growing, evolving, or at least that's a goal that we all have as together as a band. So it became something very natural for us when we go into the writing process to not repeat ourselves and to really try to do something that we've never done before and have fun in doing that. It's a fun process, thinking of things and not knowing what's going to happen. It's exciting, being in this, south of the world in Brazil, working on songs and not being around all the I don't know, chaos. I guess influence, the chaos that's out there, or just having our own perspective and really believing in ourselves and becoming comfortable with our setup and our group. And like you said, with all the changes that have happened, it's difficult to have a new member and to get, situated around, to start the whole process again of working as a group. Yeah. And those changes. But we've been able to do that. I mean, it's been a super challenge, but it's been rewarding in the end. Every time, like I said, playing live, having that support of fans, and knowing that we're moving in a direction that's moving upward.
Yeah, and you mentioned the people you've worked with on this Sepulquarta record. I'm going to point out Alex Skolnick, Scott Ian, Danko Jones, Devin Townsend, Matt Heafy, to name a few. Of course, they performed on different songs throughout the album. But as a fan, and as I was listening to Sepulquarta, is it just me, or did you feel the same way? Like you were breathing new life into these songs. Did you feel the same way at all?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was so exciting to hear them and do them with these incredible artists, friends of ours, people we truly admire. It definitely added a different twist. And I'm looking forward to playing live shows again, because I would love to do those songs live with those artists,
Oh, man.
So, I mean, there's so many different artists that are on it that at some point in time, we're going to definitely run into each other playing live shows. So hopefully we can do those songs live, which would be a lot of fun.
Do you see this album as a snapshot of where you are at a certain time in your life looking back?
I guess, yeah, of course. I mean, it's pretty much what's happening now. We're still in this quarantine and lockdown.
I asked that question because it's easy to look back on something like 2020, obviously, and say, oh, this was the pandemic year. I did this. But it's just, you see what I'm saying? It's the pandemic. But if you look back on Cadra, you could easily think of, at least for me, it's like, oh, that was the album right before the pandemic. It's always like that part, that kind of like blank wall, that's kind of just we're technically trying to get out of right now. But even with other albums that you've been a part of, like
but it's interesting as well. I mean, it is definitely associated with the pandemic, but also the memories that we have with those artists. So with Danko, we did a tour with them, Jack Daniels tour in Europe. That was the first time meeting them. I'm a huge fan of his band, and we all are. It was exciting seeing them play every night. It was something that happened where we didn't expect it to happen, like their crowd, our crowd together, everyone having fun. It just brings back those memories. I'm like, yeah, we got to actually do something together to work on it. With Devin, it was great because I met him with Highway to Hell. As far as like, that was like really talking to him. We do awesome. Like a really awesome interview with him. It was great at the NAMM Festival in California.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. With Alex, we did Testament tour, which was a great tour. And just those memories of being able to talk to him about like hip hop, where I didn't realize he was such a hip hop head, knew a lot of like old school stuff, and just like having a lot of fun and laughing about a lot of stuff on tour. All those people like Phil Campbell, touring with Motorhead, it brings back all these memories of like, oh yeah, man, you remember we did that. It's all connected also with, a whole history behind each person. So it's really cool. It brings out a lot when I hear those songs or when we're able to perform with them.
And we're approaching the last part of this interview. Unfortunately, I have that surprise for you at the end, so I think we will have time for that. But before I get to that, Derrick, everything you're telling me, right, from the different experiences and perspectives in your timeline that you have taken in, which you've discussed about, whether it's being in the band that's been through the success that you have, performing for them as long as you have, the people, the fans you have met and worked with during these records, worldwide tours, staying healthy, your TV show, and your band. The name Sepultura is a household name these days. You're considered a stepping stone in heavy metal lore. What's the most rewarding part for someone like you, who is now at this point in their career, at the same time has been involved with so many other different aforementioned talented bands, artists, individuals? Do you ever just stop for a moment to take a look back at how far you've come? Throwing a lot at you. This interview had everything, man.
I think it pops. Of course it pops up. Like, I'm really proud of what we do. It's great. I think about it when I hear it from people who are influenced, young people or people in general, where the band has touched them in a way. And I think it's incredible. I have so much respect for the history of the band, even before I was in the band. I have a lot of respect for that. And I never imagined that it would be such a driving force for Brazilians, moving to Brazil, being involved in that culture, how important it is in Brazilian history, as far as like for Brazilians, the band stands a lot, it's like a lot on our shoulders as a band, like we're almost representing the country in so many ways. And I never imagined that. In being in a band, that was one aspect that I never thought of when I was 14, 15, wanting to be in a band, like, oh, I'm going to be representing an entire country, in a lot of ways.
And doing it well too.
Oh man, it's fantastic. It's a great responsibility. And I love Brazil and I love Brazilian culture and music and everything about it. And I'm just happy to be a part of such a incredible experience.
Okay.
But it's there's so much more that we want to do, so we're consistently working on those goals of playing places we've never played before, writing music that we've never written before, and we still are on that path. There's still so much to do, and especially when working with great producers and different people, it's, again, like I said, it's very inspiring. So you have that spark, and we have that love of playing music. We still have that love. So hopefully we can go even further.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see where you guys go from here, just continuing that chapter in your life. Now, Derrick, let's get to that surprise, right? So what I'm going to do,
yes.
I don't know if you've ever done this. I do this for all my guests, and I've done it with so many people. I did it with Chuck Billy. I did it with Corey from Trivium. I think I did it with Devin. Maybe I think I did it with Devin. I can't remember. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. I'm going to see if you know the lyrics to your own songs. Are you ready for that challenge?
Oh my God. This is going to be a horrible challenge because
I didn't pick every song. I picked.
I would tell you, like, it's a weird thing in my head and lyrics. I don't know if it's the same with other artists, but I am horrible remembering our own lyrics unless I'm hearing the song and I'm in the moment. It clicks. But other than that, if I'm like, have to recite stuff, I'm like, it's horrible. It's something with, I need everybody there, like, hearing everything.
Let's
I'm up for the challenge.
Let's try it because I've had, so Corey, for example, Corey said he wouldn't get every song right. He got every single song right. And Trivium, obviously, they have a huge catalog, right? And some artists would say, oh, I'm going to get every song right. And they get every song wrong. It's always the opposite. I don't know how, but it's just the way it is. So,
oh my God. I'm
going to start you off easy, I promise. All right. I just handpicked a few. I may have picked some deep cuts in there, but if anything, this will make you rethink your set list next time you hit the stage.
Oh my God. All right.
Here we go. I'm going to read a lyric. You just say the title. Ready?
Okay.
You ready? I know you got this. All right.
I don't know, man.
Here we go. Perpetrated over time, better walk the narrow line. Never challenge what we say in the darkness of our mind.
You know what? I was just listening. I just been listening to this. Oh God!
I'll give you a hint. We're in the pandemic. I mentioned this song earlier.
Yeah, Isolation.
There we go. He's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
You got it. All right, that's Conjure 2020. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. All right, now here we go.
It's a fast song. I was just like, it's a fast. Okay, here we go.
See, it's different when you're reading it. It's like poetry.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Presenting it on stage. That's a whole different side of the song. So
very true.
This may be a challenge. Solitude met herself. Lessons from the primal step. Memories from an ending life. Liars can't stop the tribes.
That is Nomad.
Yep, from Chaos AD. See?
Chaos AD. Yeah.
Been good so far. All right.
Okay. All right.
I think I got you on this. I think I got you on this next one. All right. Do not believe it only because you've heard it before. Simply because it's spoken and rumored. One and all, live up to it. One and all.
I know this. This is Water.
Dude, look at this. You're doing well. From Nation, 2001.
Nation, yeah. That's a deep. Woo!
Yeah, that's the last song before the instrumental, if I remember correctly. I remember when I bought that album too. 2001, Nation, great album.
Thank you, man.
All right,
we're on the positive tip on that album. Every song has positive.
Here we go. I think this can't be a deep cut, but let's try it.
That was a good
one. Waiting for the moment to strike, to take possession, to take your heart. Turn your paint into a farce without respect and without regret. And the next line is the title of that song. Think 1996.
Wait. Can you repeat it again?
I'm sorry. Waiting for the moment to strike, to take possession, to take your heart.
I know. Attitude. I don't know. I'm sorry. Wait. Wait, say the lyrics again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Waiting for the moment to strike, to take possession, to take your heart. Turn your part into a farce without respect.
Respect without cutthroat.
Yep, because that was the next line. I was like, should I even say it?
Yeah.
I should have just said, what song is Roots, Bloody Roots? just say that name. I was like, should I just? I was gonna do that as a joke.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Really good. Yeah. All right.
All right. We got a couple more here. You're doing great, Derek. Listen to what you said. All right. Clockwork nerves controlled my arms. Pupils are wide open to see. No coming back from where I left. I'm a rotten orange healed by force.
Wow, I love that line. I just have to remember the name of the song. I know what album.
Starts with the. Let me see. Maybe you got it.
Hold on. Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Clockwork nerves controlled my arms. Pupils are wide open to see. No coming back from where I leapt. I'm a rotten orange healed by force. Gosh, I could just read that to like as a lullaby.
Oh, it's gonna. I know it. It's
starts with an M. It's a long word.
No, metamorphosis.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
How many more clues do I need to give him? 2009, Alex.
Just needed an M. Yeah, metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Jesus, yes.
All right, this is.
That was.
All right,
okay.
All right. We got two more. Actually, we can do. Yeah, we can do two more. All right. These next two are. Okay, I'm not gonna say anymore. I think you got this.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody will change my way. Life betrays, but I keep going. There's no light, but there's hope. Crushing oppression, I win. Oh, great lyric. That's great.
Okay, again.
Nobody will change my way. Life betrays, but I keep going. There's no light, but there's hope. Crushing oppression, I win. We're throwing it way back with this one.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure this is on the Sepulquarta record too.
I know.
You want the year?
Yeah, sure.
89.
Damn.
Bro, you sing this really well. I'm just saying.
Well, it's...
Hold on. It's okay. It's from Beneath the Remains.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Of course, yeah. Jeez. I'm just. Give me. I know that.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it's one of the first songs I had to learn when I joined the band. And Herself.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. This is great. I love this.
Yeah, that and Beneath the Remains were the two songs I had to really learn when I first joined the band. I was like, Jesus Christ, Beneath the Remains, it was so hard.
Hey, you nailed it though, on the dot. Every time I like, I don't know if you ever get a chance to search yourself live performing it. Do that, because you do it so well. All right, last one.
Oh, thank you. Okay,
last one. Now this may be a challenge, but this is
I like
this is like staple Sepultura stuff. All right.
Oh shit.
If it wasn't already, but all right, here we go. The Roman Empire has crucified the Messiah. Should I even keep reading? Okay.
Keep reading.
Okay.
I'm like...
The bestial power has sacrificed your gods. Feared by his power, the cross he'll carry. I'm making you rethink your set list, aren't I? And visions of destruction this night you'll see.
Antichrist?
Think first album. We're talking 86.
I don't know if even...
Have you performed? I'm pretty sure you performed
this song.
Morbid Visions.
No.
From Morbid Visions.
We've never done that song.
Wow. Yeah. It's the first song on the first record.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Just an idea.
Okay. All right. We will take that in consideration, because I was like, this is not ringing any bells.
It's all right.
Yeah,
man.
No. Wow, you got me though.
The only one. That was it. But Derrick, you did great.
All right.
Man, this has been such an honor, man. Thank you so much for. I mean, this was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we get to do this.
That was a lot of fun, man.
When you guys come to Dallas, what we'll do. Let's stay in touch on the socials. Hopefully, we can, like I said, come to Texas, and I can't wait till we talk about, hey, remember when we did the interview during the pandemic, and just have that conversation ready to go. But
I can't wait. We have March planned for doing a U.S. tour, so
let's
North America.
Derrick, do you have any last words, any shout outs, anything you'd like to plug in as far as Sepulquarta before we finish things off here? I don't know if you have any music video. I don't know what you can or cannot say, but
no, just definitely keep an eye out for Highway to Health. Follow us on Instagram and let other people know about it. You know, it's going to be a great show once everyone's able to see it. And again, definitely check out the new Sepultura album coming out, Sepulquarta. It's a lot of fun, a lot of amazing artists on there. And we look forward to seeing everyone live shows again.
And everyone who's listening, if that's not enough, I don't know what else we can get you to get your blood. Sepulquarta drops August 13th on Nuclear Blast Records. Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast on all major podcast streams out there. Check us out on interviewunderfire.com. Derrick, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. This has been great. I grew up listening to Sepultura, so I might as well close up shop after this interview.
Right on, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
But you stay safe out there, and then we'll talk to you soon, man. And here in Dallas.
All right, man. All the best.
All right.
Rock on. Later, man.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.